And now, podcasting from the sun-scorched desert Southwest, weighing in at a combined total of 340 pounds, Brad Winchester, Tyler McDowell-Blanken, are Gimmick Infringement.
Welcome, everybody, to the Gimmick Infringement podcast. I am Brad Winchester, and with me, as always, is my tag team partner, Tyler McDowell-Blanken. Tyler, whenever I do this, I have to take a big, deep breath right before we start, or I won't get through it in one take. And speaking of taking a deep breath, I'm ready to dive into this stuff, but first, we got to know how you're doing.
It sounds great. The intro sounds amazing to me every time, Brad. I'm doing good. The week was kind of hellacious, low-key, between work and school. Yeah. If you could think back to a time where we had this segment called this week in grad school, I believe.
Yeah. Something
we
like
used
that,
to talk about how school was going and talk about the good, but mostly gossip and kind of share sadness about school being tough and professors not caring. So the school was really tough this week, but I finished one class. Work went well. There was lots of wrestling and just general pop culture news orbiting around me that I'm excited to chat with you about today. So yeah, man, I'm doing great. And as always, it's wonderful to see you. How about you? What's new?
Doing really well. Did a lot of garage sale shopping yesterday. Garage sale, yard sale. Tyler, have you ever heard somebody say rummage sale?
I have.
Okay. I feel like it's definitely a local thing, not here local, but a regional word, because garage sale, rummage sale, yard sale, they're all kind of the same thing. There's probably some other kind of sale. If you have some other kind of sale that we don't know about, please shoot us a line, let us know, because I'm very interested in this. Better yet, if you're on YouTube, add a comment. I would love to hear about this. But we went garage sailing yesterday.
Garage sailing.
Yes,
I've not heard that. I like that.
We went
That's
sailing
nice.
away, and it was good. And the place that got me the most was the one that said it had a pink piece of paper sign that just said "Junk you need this way." And we're like, okay, I'm interested. We followed it to "Junk you want," and then turned, and then it was "Best junk ever this way," and then we found it. And I was like, okay, this is probably a bunch of crap. So anyway, I bought a bike carrier from them for $5. And I believe the carrier itself, that is one that I was looking at last year, was about $400. So it does need
400 bones, you said.
Yeah. So it does need one thing fixed on it, which I can absolutely figure out. And we'll be good to go after that. But I feel like we did pretty good. But it was so windy here in Arizona and southern Arizona anyway. Down in the Tucson area, we had pretty straight winds the entire day. I woke up at 5 and thought it was raining. I immediately opened up the weather app to see if there was green over the top of us, but it wasn't rain. It was just stuff hitting the house from the wind. So my allergies are whooping my butt right now. My face is just congested and it's kind of dreadful. But Tyler, I'm on break. And I believe you are too. And it is wonderful to have this time off.
It's the best.
Man, I don't even know how to transition out of this because I'm just so happy to not have to go to work on Monday. I could take my time with this today. I can stay up late if I want to. And my mom can't send me to bed. It's pretty awesome. But when I'm talking about it like this, Tyler, people might think it's a work. You see where I'm going with this?
I see where you're going with it. Keep cooking.
No, it's time for It's a Work. And we got to talk about Taylor. We got to talk about Travis. We got to talk about Swiftsy. So play the music.
Yeah, it has to be discussed, Brad. So obviously the NFL remains the biggest sport in the United States by far. Our feelings about the NFL continue to be complicated. I feel like we have complicated feelings about most topics, Brad, because there's the entertainment side versus the moral side. And we're not going to talk about this here, though. We are going to discuss what has been the headline of not only the sports section, but the entertainment section. It's everywhere. Taylor Swift, the biggest pop star in the world, apparently has a new boo, ? In Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce. Now, Brad, she's been spotted at his games in the press box. The first time it was next to Kelce's mom. Last week, I believe it was without Kelce's mom. We were watching Wrestle Dream, of course, but she's kind of been a part of the viewer's experience now. It's not just about the football game, but it's about what's Taylor doing in the press box. Yeah. Kelce's jersey sales have gone up 400%. His podcast is #1. We were #1, Brad, in our own minds, but then Kelce just took our spot and just completely pole vaulted. Again, Taylor's been popular. She just had a gazillion dollar generating tour. So we already know she's kind of at an elite status. So all that being said, this situationship, whatever's going on here, do you buy it? Is this legit? Or do you think it's a work?
So I didn't know where you're going to go with this. I think it's legit. What I don't think is legit is the Kelce podcast saying, please stop covering us.
lying through his mustache on that
100%.
Come on,
that.
Travis. Come on.
Travis Kelce dating Taylor Swift is 100% real. He's been, I think he's wanted this to happen for a while. And what I don't like is them going like, oh man, there's football going on. Why do you have to cover us? Stop covering us. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm sure it's really hurting your brand for you to be covered like this. So I absolutely find that to be bullshit, but it's everything else I think is not a work.
Really? It's legit.
No, I think you have to have, at least this is how I view it. If you are a successful, famous, wealthy person, you dating a teacher? Couldn't even say it without laughing immediately. Because you now have all this doubt, right? Like you have this doubt in your mind, like, are they dating me for me? Are they dating me for fame and money? Will I ever truly know? So the only way to really remove that is to date somebody who is also famous and has money. Nobody will ever be able to match the celebrity of Taylor Swift in terms of dating them that isn't already married, engaged, or let's face it, they're dead. It's just the way it is. Taylor's on another level. It's Travis Kelce is not Taylor Swift in terms of fame and popularity, but Taylor has made him much more famous because of this. So sure, it's easy to look at it and think it's a work. I just don't. I don't think anybody goes into that kind of minefield without being committed to it. What say you?
Wow. You legit surprised me with this one. I'm more dubious. I think it's a work. To me, the only logical way this could be a work is if Travis Kelce is the heel in this situation and is doing this for extra publicity and attention and money. Like you said, Brad, the podcast, again, the jersey sales, that's a legit stat. 400% jersey sale increase. Like crazy. That's, yeah, I mean, the dude, like you said, Brad, the dude's already a millionaire. He's accomplished. He's won a Super Bowl with Pat Mahomes. I mean, the guy's even hosted SNL well before this relationship. So he's actually one of the more famous NFL stars. Mm-hmm. But I just don't think this is legit. Let me ask you one more question. So we disagree on the validity of this, but do you think by the end of the Super Bowl, they are still going to be together?
If anything happens, it will be okay. So do you think Travis wants to be a heel? Do you think that do you think Mr. Pfizer has actively gone out of his way to, what a stupid thing all that is.
Come on.
To Aaron Rodgers is the biggest heel in wrestling.
So this is a
big
heel turn.
Well, probably in wrestling too. Travis Kelce doing Pfizer commercials, doing donations and stuff for people, doing good work for humankind. You think that he's the heel in this situation. So if it's a work, you think his goal is take away all of his followers, take away all of these new fans, look like the bad guy, and lose sponsorships. So you think that's his goal. By the Super Bowl, he turns heel on Taylor, dumps her so she can have a new album.
Yes. I think that's where this is going.
And you think he's just going to be fine with being the bad guy? And this
I think so. I think
so.
I think so. I think because we're going to be talking about this dude. Because we're talking about this dude. We are now, and we would definitely be when the eventual, dare I say, the inevitable breakup happens after the Super Bowl, Brad. I think Kansas City's going to slide. I don't think they're returning to the big game this season.
I don't think so either. But
so,
I mean, who knows?
So if I'm
I didn't think they'd get there last year either. So here we are.
If I'm Travis Kelce though, Brad, if I know this team is kind of garbage, but we're lucky that we have Pat Mahomes at quarterback, how am I going to be in the news cycle come the postseason? Is splitting with T Swift. I'm calling it.
But if you have Pat Mahomes and the team's garbage and you're one of the offensive weapons,
you could help the team win these games
and be the sole star on the team with Pat Mahomes.
You
could just be Gronk. Why would he do it this way during the season?
Tyler, I'm not ready to believe yet. I don't believe.
When you're done, I need you to go into the shower, take a hot shower, get your shoulders loose and stretch, because my guy, you are reaching. Woo! My goodness.
Time is going to tell, Brad. I think I'm going to end up being right on this.
You're going to be right about them breaking up, I feel. I'm not
100%.
To happen.
Yeah,
but like, I don't think there's going to be a reveal all at the end. We're like, I was just working them. Like,
it was me all along. Yeah, I watched that clip actually of Vince McMahon and the Ministry of Darkness. It still hits.
You're going to know as much about this as we know about Brawl Out and what really happened. That's what you're going to know.
That's a dangerous.
We're just going to sit here for the rest of time wondering, or even Brawl Out 2 or whatever it was, Brawl In, and Tony Khan being afraid for his life. We're never going to know that either.
No, and now they're a potential transition for us. Now there's this speculation just running rampant that CM Punk could be returning to WWE. If it makes dollars, maybe it makes sense. We know Survivor Series is in Chicago next month in November. So although I'm not going to ask you about CM Punk and WWE formally, Brad,
I'm not either. Because I avoided it because I thought you would.
Absolutely not. I do have a WWE question for you.
Let's do it.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
So as I pull up my notes here, man, lots to discuss in World Wrestling Entertainment. A few quick notes for you, then I'm going to lean right into my question. Rhea Ripley is the clear leader of Judgment Day, and she confirmed for us this week that she could body slam every dude on the entire roster. We got a Jade sighting in Indy. Carlito is back, albeit with not a great entrance theme.
Terrible. It's bad. It's so bad.
Absolutely flamed on socials. And Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso are tag champs somehow. Also, the Tuesday Night Wars are upon us, Brad. Let's stay there. NXT is loading up for a mega show this week.
No, it's not.
We're getting
WWE is.
We're getting Braun Breaker with Paul Heyman in his corner against Carmelo Hayes with John Cena in his. Asuka versus Roxanne Perez, which I'm super excited about. A Cody appearance. And a huge tease that The Undertaker will be dropping by Orlando, Florida. Here's my question. I can't wait for your response.
So stupid.
Has Shawn Michaels done enough to get you to tune in this week?
I absolutely, fully, 100% believe Shawn had nothing to do with any of this. And that this was like a mandate from the higher ups that this is what's going to happen to combat the ratings. Why would Undertaker ever go to NXT? What is the purpose? He has no ties there. He has more experience with WCW than NXT. We got John Cena coming in for some reason. And Paul Heyman, for no particular reason, managing Braun Breaker, probably because of his long-standing tradition as part of the Anoa'i family.
I was gonna say Braun's been hitting that tanning bed heavy, but I don't think there's
yeah.
any official correlation here.
Yeah, the tanning bed and the hair dye are doing a lot of work there.
I think so, and I love Braun. I don't want him to spear me into
Now,
two, but
that being
yes,
said,
there's
Paul
no
Heyman,
correlation.
Braun Breaker,
Money.
awesome.
We've been calling for it.
I needed the fireworks. I've been waiting
Slick.
all show for this. Okay,
This is why you're him, Brad. This is why you're that dude.
I think it's awesome. I would love to see that even on the main roster. I think that's a no-brainer pairing. And John Cena pairing with anybody else there, I don't care. Here's what I think. NXT has to go up against AEW. AEW NXT was the battle, right? That was the Friday Night Wars, the Wednesday Night Wars, the whatever night wars, because we had Rampage and we had that time slot movement because of sports or something where they were going to go head to head, and they made Sasha and some other people. It was like, we're going to put all these main events and all these loaded up things. I get NXT needing to load up against AEW because AEW for a change is encroaching on their time slot when it was Wednesday, and then NXT moved to Tuesdays so that the ratings could get more of a bump. And NXT's been doing really well against AEW because the people in NXT aren't from NXT. Like, at some point, they got to just make a third brand and just have it be that brand rather than, no, NXT is completely separate. We just have cameo appearances, because they're not just having cameo appearances anymore. They're having programs. And while I'm absolutely going to tune in to watch, because I want to see what it looks like. I think it's cool for Cena to go in front of a small crowd. Most of these wrestler guys talk about like how much they love the independent things because it's so intimate. So this will be closer to that. But I just think it's so, like, make your show better. Just make your show better. Don't rely on the other shows to make that show better. I don't get it. Like, instead of doing that, like, make it a special NXT event. Have Isla defend against Braun. Do something to make it interesting instead of being like, I know what we'll do. We'll get Undertaker. And we're not getting Undertaker. We're getting Mark Calloway. Right? Because he said he's never going to put it back on. He's done with the Undertaker.
Right.
So because
we got the gong in the advertisement, but the presentation likely is not going to be the trench coat and the the hat. I feel like Joe Gacy is going to be on the receiving end of a chokeslam or a pile driver. Poor Joe Gacy. But I agree with you. I think the presentation will not be the traditional Undertaker at this point.
And I'm fine with that. Cody going there to speak. Why is he setting up a program with somebody that is the tag champ? Is he going to fight somebody there? Or
maybe the Dusty Cup is back.
Only
has to be
possible reason that I can see him going there, because
it's not going to be Jade. We already saw her at Fastlane
before
the show.
So it just, unless he's introducing something like the Dusty Cup or something Dusty related, it's weird to me because I feel like they've already fumbled Cody so badly. He's now a tag champ. Wow.
Yeah, how do you feel about him and Jay beating Judgment Day for the belts?
I got a question about that. But
okay. I'm not going to bury the lead. I got you.
No, so I guess long and short, I just think it's dumb that NXT is doing this because they're on fire without it. They're only doing it to win the ratings war for that one night and hoping that some traction will get gained because people will tune in to see Cena the Undertaker. I don't think anybody's tuning in to see Paul Heyman, but no disrespect to Paul Heyman, but like if you're watching a wrestling show, you know what I mean? So the only thing I could think there too is maybe there's some stuff with the bloodline. I can see Paul bringing Solo as backup, and then maybe there's something interesting there since Solo was in the NXT stuff. So I don't know. There could be some interesting wrinkles because of this. I'm going to tune in to find out. I just feel like NXT is good enough without having to load it up that it feels weird to load it up. I also understand from a business side why they're doing it. So I just think it's dumb and unnecessary. I'd rather see NXT continue to be just a really good show.
Yeah, and
they've developed.
They've developed a really loaded roster.
It's very good
as well. Yeah, in the last 2 to 3 years since they've rebranded, like you said, Brad, it's really good. There's just talent upon talent there, of course, at different levels of their development. But I'm really going to be eager. We know it's going to deliver a huge rating, which, like you said, is the emphasis for doing all this. Is you want to say they're not going to say we beat AEW because AEW is in competition, according to
Right.
Nick Khan.
Yeah.
But it's very possible that they beat AEW next week. We'll see. TBD. I'm really eager to see, though, is this just going to be a complete one-off sort of super show for NXT, or are there going to be programs that are built from this? Like you said about maybe Solo joining Paul. I anticipate Braun versus Melo will main event, even though I would love for Asuka and Roxanne to have that spot. Is there going to be something leaving this show that we're going to get a storyline created that's going to continue for several weeks, maybe leading into their next, I know they don't call it takeover anymore, but their next big, deadline show. That would be kind of cool. I suspect it's just going to be a one-off, again, to pop that rating. But I do agree with your overall point that the roster is so talented now that if you invest that time in building your own homegrown characters from the NXT brand, it would be awesome to live in a world where you could just market a huge show based off of NXT talents facing each other. Like you, I'm not going to go to X and start a whole war with my fingers about what's right and what's wrong and who's petty and who's not.
Yeah.
It's wrestling, it's entertainment, it's not that serious. We don't need to argue about it over people or with people we don't even know. But I agree with you that it would be nice one day if we just get a super NXT show with largely NXT people on it. That being said, I'm going to tune in. I think it's great that folks are excited about wrestling. And like you, I'm just eager to see what this actually looks like in Orlando, having these huge names drop by.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's going to matter or not in this conversation, but what it got me thinking of is that this is, I think, probably more of a TKO decision, because the WWE never saw them as competition, but TKO might. So now that the merger is complete, this might be coming from somewhere else. I don't know if it'd be coming from Nick Khan's office or somewhere else, because I know Triple H's thing has always been everything is competition. We're competing with Monday Night Football. We're competing with all these other sporting events, which is true. So I don't know where this is coming from. Kind of here for it. I do listen. I don't love that they're doing this to NXT when they could do this to. My problem is that if you can do this to your other shows and you're not, what are you doing?
Yeah,
like Raw's not awesome. It's too long. Raw needs to be 2 hours and stop it.
Yeah, advertisement money, man. It's got to be good, because 3 hours is too long for a weekly wrestling show.
It's just so much downtime, and it's just like, God, it's so many commercial breaks, and
it's a lot.
And nothing's happening, and it's like, at least give us picture in picture. At least AEW gives us that. It gives us a crumb during that time, so it doesn't feel like the action's stopping. But my goodness, it's just not very good. So anyway, it's a difficult conversation to have, because I'm trying not to bury it. I don't watch NXT shows. I watch NXT clips more often than not. And then sometimes I'll catch full matches if it looks like a really good match. I don't have any time, man. Like, once I'm done with this grad school stuff, and I know you feel this way, once I'm done with that, I'm going to start watching it regularly. But right now it's like, I got time for nothing. So here we are. So my question is not CM Punk related, but I'm going to start with CM Punk. CM Punk might be returning to the WWE. Jade has made her presence officially known in the WWE. Nakamura lost despite killing and missing Seth. However, the big story to me was how unbelievably faded Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes were at the press conference after winning the tag titles. I don't know if you saw these clips, Tyler. But
I did. We have not talked about it until this very moment.
Nope. So this is obviously different than interviews after a team drinks champagne after a championship win. So Tyler, what are your thoughts on professional wrestlers coming out to press conferences in that state of mind? Especially WWE wrestlers.
We're here to put smiles on kids' faces. I'm good with it if it's a one-off. I think we've seen enough from Jey Uso over the years. His brother's a little bit of a different story, but we've seen enough from Jey and definitely from Cody where we know they're professionals. They take this seriously. Seems like their image matters a lot to them. As a one-off, as sort of a strange, did I just see this on the timeline? I'm good with it. Like you said, Brad, we see it in the major sports, especially at the end of a finals or a World Series or a Super Bowl. We know folks are just they're lit, they're having a good time, they're enjoying themselves. Okay, it was really jarring to see this in a WWE presentation. I'm good with it if it's a one and done. If this were happening after every premium live event, if these dudes were getting turned after every big win, I don't think that's a good look, but for a one-off, for GI conversation purposes, I was good with it. How about you? Did it kind of take you back like it did me?
I didn't love it. I guess what I didn't love is that the guy that is the face of your company right now, and Cody Rhodes, comes out there and can't not slur. Was not an awesome look. Now, I don't care if they do it. Like, I don't care. What do I care? Like, go ahead and do it. Sounds fun. I'd love to do that with them. Call me if you want to do it, Cody. Let me know. I'll be there. I didn't love it at the press conference, and my guess is there's going to be some people that feel the same way in the company, where I don't think anybody's going to get it in trouble. Nobody's going to get suspended. I think we're way past that because that would be stupid. I also think that there's going to be a memo saying you're waiting until later, or it's here are the people that are going to be on the press call, and you have to be in a right state of mind at the press call, and then you can go do whatever you're going to do. I think that's probably what has to happen, because if you're going to market this to children and you're going to present this as a child's product, because that's what they do, they want it to be appealing to all audiences, even though I don't know that that's really the way that it is. Obviously, I don't think either of us have a problem with performers doing this. Like, who cares? Whatever. If they're going in the back and they're they got their Seth Rogen grinding mill and the Seth Rogen rolling papers, and they blaze up in the back.
The Matt Riddle OG.
Yes, exactly.
Did you see that? Everyone's getting in on that green industry.
Yeah,
I don't know much about that at all, but apparently it's profitable.
It's profitable. The gummies in my closet right now say it's profitable. The great for sleep when you have a migraine. Unbelievable. Sure. So I'm like, I don't care. I really don't care. In fact, I support you if it keeps you off painkillers. That stuff is crazy. So
talk about it. Yeah.
I would much rather them go do that and take care of themselves that way. Have some fun, feel a little better after destroying your body for the entertainment of people, whatever. But then you can't go to the press conference and through the whole thing, because Cody was just like Cody was struggling. He was fighting for his life out there.
And Jey
had no idea. Jey had no idea what was going on. They asked him a question and he was like, "Yeah, but we're here now." And I was like, that had nothing to do with what you were just asked. It was
so tough. I like the distinction you pointed out though, Brad. As fans, we view this one way, but if we were an employee of the company, dare I say, if we were in a leadership role, if I were a big wig in TKO, yeah, I think a memo would have to be sent out. And these dudes were the opening match. So you can just imagine with the 2 to 3 hours they had, they weren't playing Monopoly. Let's say, Brad. No. I don't think they brought out Scrabble. I think there was some other activity that might have been occurring.
It could have been Monopoly. It just been maybe they didn't do it like do not collect 200. Instead of collecting $200, you get, I don't know, 200 grams.
I wonder what their pieces would be. Do you think Cody's a thimble guy? Do you think what were those pieces of Monopoly back in the day? I used to play all the time with my family.
I always loved the ironing board.
The ironing board,
the iron, not the board, the iron.
The iron,
yeah.
They were, I felt like
a little car, right?
There was a car, yes.
Yeah.
We had a New York Yankees version of Monopoly, an Arizona version. We were all about that.
Yeah, we had a small town, Escanaba-opoly. Really easy to say.
Rolls off the tongue.
All those things. Yeah, there's a Tucson-opoly you can get at the Desert Museum and other places. There's all of those. And that game truly truly sucks anyway. Monopoly might be one of the dumbest games ever, because once somebody gets ahead, it's impossible to win. I hate Monopoly.
And then if your banker is kind of fraudulent,
yes,
right? Like
yeah,
if they've been paid off by somebody, or they have a favorite family member.
Yep.
Yeah, there's yeah, we're on the same page.
yeah. If you want a good board game, this is for everybody listening. If you've never played Pandemic, maybe it's too soon, but if you've never played Pandemic, that game is so much fun. It's like the game kind of predicts what you're going to do, and it's pretty easy to pick up.
Ooh. You know
Fun little game.
who you know who I think would like that, Brad, and probably just enjoy these board games? Gary, our golden bachelor, and his
I bet he would.
22 the 22 women who are vying for his heart. You know the vibes. You know how we do it around here, Brad. It's time to play the music. It is a rose from me.
And now, for a rose from GI's most eligible bachelor.
A rose from me, possibly from us, Brad. Episode 2 of. That's why you gotta check out the.
I didn't have time, man.
Listen,
I'm sorry.
listen,
It's
man.
on the DVR, and I know things are about to get spoiled, but Jess and I were planning on watching it tonight.
Okay, very, very good. Well, I will include some spoilers here. Golden Bachelor episode 2. I'm gonna defer to my notes. I actually took these notes while watching this time, and I haven't seen them in a few days. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Brad, Golden Bachelor, Gary, our guy. The episode started out with a diner date. He took Teresa, a 70-year-old from New Jersey. You know, she is an early favorite of mine. He took her to this diner, and I'm so excited for you and Jess to see how this played out. So this was, we have not seen anything like this on The Bachelor or Bachelorette before. They had to take the interstate to get to this diner, and apparently the headlights appeared to go out in Gary's vehicle, and so he was just stuck in the right lane. He was just cruising in the right lane. It was obvious that he was going well under the speed limit. And somehow Batch was just showing us all this. It was really nerve-wracking, because I think you and I both have been in a vehicle with a driver older than us, whether it's a family member or someone that you can tell, like, this might be it for me. If this car ride doesn't go well, like, it just might be a done deal. Gary was clearly not comfortable, but what was really awesome, Brad, is that Teresa put her hand on him, and Gary, in such a genuine moment, Gary said, "You know what? I really needed that. Thank you." And he got them to the diner, and all was well. They played "Don't Stop Believin'." There was a total flash mob situation. I thought we were back in like 08. It was beautiful, and I can't wait for you to see the diner date. Apparently, the diner isn't even a real diner; it's like a movie set. So. Don't let that take away from your enjoyment of this, though. Later on in the episode, there was a romance novel photo shoot, which all the women...
Oh, God.
It was so absurd. And they brought back Franco, who is usually the photographer when they do these dates during other seasons. So they had that. It was completely absurd, but I hope you and Jess will find some enjoyment in it. During this, though, we saw that Leslie, the 64-year-old fitness instructor from Minnesota, she revealed her hearing aids during a group date. During the actual photo shoot, though, Nancy was in tears. She shared that her husband had passed, so the kind of putting on the wedding dress brought back those really tender emotions. And Gary spoke with her. They kind of confided in each other, since both of them are widows, and many people on the season are widows and have lost a spouse, sadly. But Nancy and Gary really clicked, Brad. She received a rose.
Oh.
Unfortunately, Natasha was sent home. I'll let you see more of that, but she was one of the women that Gary let go, and she had a super funny exit. She was commenting on the fact that it's ridiculous that at their age they all have to stand during the rose ceremony. She said, "We need to get some chairs or something. Yeah. What are we doing here?" So she's already a fan favorite 2 weeks in, even though she got sent packing. I'm really worried about if Gary can handle these rose ceremonies. It seems like he's already feeling the effects of sending these women home. You and I spoke last week, Brad, about what's really attractive about this season is because these folks are in their 60s and 70s. It does feel like the stakes are heightened, and this could be legitimately a last chance at love. So I'm worried about my guy G here and if he's going to hold up all the way through. But my final note for you, we talked about how much we enjoyed episode 1. So did over 7 million people, Brad. Popped a huge rating.
Had no idea. That's crazy.
The debut episode, the inaugural episode of Golden Bachelor, did over 7 million views on ABC. It also broke Hulu streaming records. And you just get the sense online that the fan base is really happy for this breath of fresh air. I do want to cite a GI poll here. We actually asked the X-verse, if you will, or Batch Nation, what they thought and who they think is a front runner. So here are the numbers. The question was, who was your early favorite to win Gary's heart? 11% of the fan base chose Leslie. There were 27 votes in total. 11% of respondents chose Leslie. 56% chose my girl Teresa from New Jersey. 19% chose Faith, the radio host who played the guitar for Gary on episode 1. And 14% of respondents chose other. So there are other names like Nancy, like Ellen, who I think folks are really thinking are going to go all the way. But if X tells us anything, Brad, if our respondents are leading us one way, they're telling us that Teresa is the early front runner, which makes my heart happy. I want Gary to be happy. I want you and Jess to enjoy this episode. I have really high hopes about this, Brad. I'm really enjoying Golden Bachelor.
I can't wait to watch it. I was looking at some of the contestants, trying to remind myself of who these people are, face to name.
Yeah, he's got like 15 left now, or 14.
Is Sandra still there, right?
Sandra's still there. You know she is.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Then there's hope.
There's hope. Yeah. Absolutely.
I still think. Who you said you think Nancy is the front runner right now, or Emily?
I'm going to say Teresa. I'm going
Teresa.
full in on Teresa. Yep.
Teresa.
That's what our 27 most of the 27 respondents said, 56%. I know someone in my life whose name is Teresa with an H, who's from New Jersey. My mother. I'm going full in on Teresa at this point.
All right.
No question. Yep.
All right. I'm excited to watch. I legitimately am. This isn't just fan
I know you are. It's not a bit.
For Tyler. No, it's not a bit.
We did it.
It's just figuring out, when can both of us watch it. I could watch it in a little bit here, but I am home alone. And speaking of being left alone, Tyler, FTR was left alone without their belts this week, and a lot of things happened in AEW. So let's get into AEW talk.
You're absolutely right. Speaking of big Tuesdays, AEW Dynamite has a special Title Tuesday edition this week. Personally, I'm hoping Sheeta and Swerve leave Independence, Missouri with big wins. But in terms of what we saw last week, you're right, Brad. Big Bill and Ricky Starks not only beat FTR, they decimated Dax and Cash to become new tag champs. And Christian Cage did not accept Adam Copeland's friendship invitation. We also saw Wardlow reappear, which makes me really happy. Sorry, Griff Garrison. That was rough. I didn't even realize Griff was still in AEW, so that's good.
Who the f*** is Griff Garrison?
Who? Shout out BTE. However, I want to ask you about the official debut of Timeless Toni Storm. This might be my favorite thing in all of wrestling, Brad. Here's my question. If I know anything about you, I know that you love theater and you love wrestling. Probably your two biggest passions. What do you make of Toni Storm's transition from the outcast to this new character? And where does she rank for you in terms of most impressive character actors in the business right now?
That's a good question. I've loved the transition. This is her best character, far and away. Her turn to, and now a word from our sponsors. And what I'm hoping we get at a pay-per-view is what fans in arenas are getting when they're on commercial break, and it's just her yelling, "Show me those tits, let me slap those tits," which they are not going to air on TNT or TBS, I do not believe, but it is so funny. Oh, it's so funny. Her character is so ridiculous. The black and white, the Rick Bone Zone this week had "Why are we in black and white?" on commentary, which got a huge laugh out of me. I thought that was hilarious. I love this. I think her character work is up there, the only rivaled currently, in my opinion, by her husband, Juice Robinson, who is also off the charts maniacal right now. But shout out to the Iron Savages. Like their gimmick, I don't really get it. It's we're super homoerotic, but always by accident. And also we're just giant hoss dudes that throw people around. So it's like I don't really get what they're doing there, but it's always really funny, really entertaining. I'm trying to think of who else that rivals that. Shinsuke's been doing really good stuff lately. I don't know if that really counts because it's just sort of his angry character turned up to 11. But in terms of like over the top character work, I can't really think of anybody in WWE right now that's up there with it. Maybe I'm drawing a blank and I'm forgetting somebody, but I got nothing. LA Knight's not really over the top. LA Knight's just LA Knight. So it's not like ridiculous. AEW's got a lot of ridiculous in there right now. Impact has a few ridiculous names in there too. New Japan, I don't think does. I have no clue. And then, like I said, I have no idea what's going on in NXT, but it doesn't seem like there's any ridiculous there. Otherwise I probably would have pointed at Cameron Grimes, but he's doing other things. So yeah, Tyler, that's what I got. I think she's great in terms of character work right now. Top 2 for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And she might not be 2 at this point.
Yes.
I absolutely love it.
Her character's actually more developed than Juice because Juice is just nuts. But there's not like I don't know any of his background or anything. We're telling you, it's like,
right.
Yeah.
But the main thing I want to share here, because I agree, I think it's fantastic. I did not see this coming. I didn't know she had the acting chops in her. So this has just all been absolutely wonderful.
That
what I want to contribute,
that Timeless Toni ringside exclusive is going to be a black and white box. It's probably going to be a black and white Toni Storm. Like I can already see the merch opportunities for this character.
It's a win. Yeah. It's
sorry
it's
to cut
win.
you off, and I
just
got excited.
No, I'm excited too. This is so good. The only thing I want to contribute to the conversation is her relationship with Juice Robinson. I think they might be married at this point. It makes so much more sense to me now. Like they just with this new character, I could just see probably why they vibe so well and why they're an item. I love it, man. I think this is exactly what is needed for AEW, particularly with the women's division. We would assume we're getting Mercedes at some point, maybe Full Gear. Winter is coming. I don't know. The sooner the better. But in terms of the fan base really getting behind the women's division and just the hour by hour, segment by segment ratings proving to Tony Khan and company that we want to see the women more on TV. I think the division was really needing a character like this, not just the in-ring action, but is there a character that is can't miss that we're going to tune in to see every week? They found that. Toni Storm created that with this character. I couldn't be more excited about it.
Yeah, I agree, man. And I don't know what it is with Britt that there's a disconnect right now. Fans are crapping on her, and I don't understand that at all. But she also has zero momentum. It's just gone, and I don't know what happened. I have no idea if they just didn't know what to do with her if she wasn't champion. Because I really liked her stuff. Maybe it's because Jamie got hurt. But
yeah, I thought we were gonna get that Jamie Britt match, and maybe we still will. But that, yeah.
But that's
I agree. The momentum's been stifled.
Because Sheet is amazing, not really a character. Britt's great, has a character, but no storyline to match that character. It's just sort of I'm a dentist, and the end. And
Athena could be amazing if we get her back on Wednesdays and Saturdays.
Yes, thank you. Athena should be there.
She's right there.
Marina Shafir is close to a character. She was like kind of perfect as she was with like the silent badass MMA person, and then she was coming out in like a weird hat, and I don't understand. She was tagging with Nyla. None of it made any sense, and I just want to see her go out there. Everybody thinks that she's not very good. It's like, no, she's just doing actual throws. They don't look like wrestling throws because they're not. It's how she used to beat people up. Like I kind of like the difference there, but from an audience perspective, it looks like someone's screwing up when it's like, no, she's just throwing them down. The end. You get a barefoot wrestler in there, and that's just different. But you don't have to have the character is there isn't a character there, so get them a mouthpiece. So there's a lot of potential in that division because we know how loaded it is in terms of talent. Um, I actually love what Ruby's doing right now as an outcast. This heel Ruby is awesome. It's her best thing in AEW. And then you have Saraya as the champ, which I can't tell you what she's doing right now. Like, no idea what's going on there. Um, I feel a little bit like they're biding their time for Jamie to come back. And in the meantime, we have Toni Storm, and she should have every belt. Statlander is great. Couldn't really tell you what's going on there, though. I don't know. I don't know how you feel about that, but the stat stories, it's great. Love her as champ. Not really sure what's going on.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you know I have lofty expectations for her run as TBS champ. So I agree with you that okay, the match with Julia Hart was fun. We know she beat Jade, and obviously Jade's elsewhere now. But yeah, I'm a little concerned, but I'm hopeful that they're gonna do stat right and do the TBS title right. But I agree with you; it's not firing on all cylinders by any means. I mean, I didn't even mention stat in my lead up here, and I'm asking you about Toni Storm, not a champion at the moment, former champ, but not holding gold like Chris Statlander.
To your point,
Saraya.
though, she's the best thing going in AEW.
She is, and I don't want her to hold gold for a while. I need this unhinged character to become even more unhinged. I don't think we can do that with her getting the gold just yet. But her beating Sky Blue, which is also really interesting that Sky Blue is now has the Julia Hart poison, and I'm really excited to see what goes on there. Toni Storm beat Kiera Hogan. Like I think
that was fun. That was a fun match.
Yeah, it was. It was. I mean, you and I are not going to stop talking about the women's division and our hopes for it. I just think they really struck gold here with Toni Storm. So if you pair that with hopefully a great Chris Statlander run, paired with Jamie Hayter coming back hopefully soon, and then also acquiring Mercedes, I just hope they get it right and they do these women right. And if we can get Athena, Brad, like you said, TK, can we just move Athena to Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays every night, please? Because she is that good, and I think she could just really just do incredible things for.
And her character is so good right now, and that's the thing.
Because developed and
watching WWE and seeing Charlotte's really cooled off, huh? Like in big programs, but like I don't know. I think it's less about wanting to see Charlotte Flair wrestle and more worrying that she's going to win again. And that's not awesome because that's a really good wrestler with a very established character.
Maybe the GOAT when it's all said and done.
Yeah. But also she's got to stop doing that like front cartwheel double clothesline thing because that's not it. But we love the queen. Okay, my question for you, Tyler. FTR dropped the belts to Ricky Starks and Big Bill. Before I get into it, I actually wrote this. It says, seems like a strange move to me, but I'm happy for those guys. In reality, it sounds like Cash broke a couple ribs, and that's why they squashed him on the outside, is so he didn't have to go into the ring and do the full match. So hopefully both of those guys heal up. Dax looked like he was limping on the way out to the ring is a little bit too. And we know he's had knee problems in the past, so I'm sure he's in some pain. So hopefully this guy's rest up. That being said, my question for you is, how surprised are you that this is the first gold Big Bill has held in NXT, WWE, Impact, or AEW?
Wow. That like I knew that because I've watched this dude from the very beginning in NXT with Enzo to now, but I did not realize that's an actual stat. It's a fact.
It's crazy.
First time with W. Morrissey never held Golden Impact. It's shocking. I'm so glad it has finally happened. I've told you before, Brad, when I see this dude on TV, I've not seen him live, but when I see him on TV, he looks like the tallest, not even wrestler, but person I've ever seen. I love it. I think he's money. I'm hopeful that he and Ricky are going to get a significant run with these belts. it's shocking, but I'm glad that we're finally getting the machine behind him, because I
Mhm.
think this dude
Agreed.
is one of the best big men in the game today, and it's long overdue.
Say what people can say what they want about the WWE training system, which is why I'm really excited for Jade to go there, where it's a legitimate system in place. But I look at Big Bill walking into the ring and just simple stuff like pulling down the top rope and stepping over it, entering like a big man, like always making sure to enter like a big man. He does all of those little things so well now that I don't know that he was doing super well before, but his life was kind of a mess too, right? Like addiction and all those other things.
Yes.
So the dude he's clean. He got a new lease on his career and he's making the most out of it. And he and Ricky Starks are tag champs. I'm excited for this. This is going to be
So
a lot of
excited.
fun.
Yes. Ricky holding gold again, right? He's only had the FTW title. So
Yeah.
he hasn't had gold after gold after gold. This is huge for him too.
Yeah. And I, I think I'm still struggling to understand why not. Like what happened there? What's the hang up to put something on Ricky? But also I don't know who you would take it off of right now. Ricky against MJF just doesn't sound right to me right now. And Ricky beating Christian Cage, I don't want him to.
No, Christian Cage has completely restored the TNT
It's
Championship.
so much fun now.
It matters now.
Now
it just
with
main
that,
event to the pay-per-view.
yes, and with oh my god, he killed Darby Allin. Like just the one thing I'll say that I don't like is that I if I'm remembering correctly, wasn't Darby in on the like the video package this week? He like a video interview or whatever.
Yeah.
Why? Like he was murdered publicly. I don't want to hear his voice. Like give the man a month off or two. It's crazy. So
A semester, maybe. He deserves it.
he deserves it.
The steel
Like,
step spot. There's always multiple spots in his match where it's like, I hope Darby's doing this in 5 years because he's so good.
well, that's the thing. It's like for the last, I feel like 3 years, somebody's got to tell the kid to stop because he's gonna destroy his career. And it's like, yeah, it's been some time and he's still doing it and he's fine. So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna listen, Darby, crazier. That's what I want. If you're watching this right now, Darby Allin, bigger, crazier. The end. Be safe, but bigger and crazier.
You know, I got a cameo from this guy. Like, I have a connection.
Holding the belt, man.
Holding the TNT
The
belt.
OG belt.
One of my favorite, yes, I have the cameo still. One of my most prized possessions. We've talked about him and Orange Cassidy and the homegrown stars that AEW has built. These are household names now in wrestling. And I think Darby's one of those talents that I don't know if I can name you a bad Darby Allin match. He just always delivers no matter who he's working. Of course, you got to have a good dance partner too, but I just think he's an absolute gem of All Elite Wrestling. One of my favorite performers in the company, but you already knew that.
Yeah, he's incredible. Like they gotta sooner or later he's gonna get gold again. Sooner or later he'll be in another program, but I don't know that I ever need to see Darby in another program like that big that has that many stakes because he's just doing everything well. He's doing everything right. It doesn't have to be for all the marbles. Like he could just do it. But speaking for all of the things, Tyler, listen, man, we haven't done this in a long time, and I'm so excited for this. People that have been not watching the show for a long time will probably remember the imaging, but it's time for an addition, not another, just an addition, because it's been so long, for Hot Take Ty for All the Dogs edition. Play the music.
And now it's time for Hot Take Ty. Spicy.
This had to happen, Brad. This is a more somber version of Hot Take. We got to talk about the Drake album, For All the Dogs. It came out on Friday. I listened to it, and I got to tell you, my hot take is that it's over, Brad. The Drake run, my love, it's done. And I mean it this time. This album was not good. There are 23 songs, and I liked maybe 3 of them. The joint with J. Cole is really good. I recommend it. It's called First Person Shooter. Kind of aggressive, like for this point in my life to listen to, but it's good. And Cole, Cole's going to deliver.
Yeah.
But the album is basically 90 minutes of Drake pettiness, turned up to 11, as you would say. There are shots at the singer Esperanza Spalding. Rihanna, he takes a major shot at, which got the timeline talking, along with her boo ASAP Rocky. He clearly hasn't gotten over Rihanna. All Drake music now for probably the last 7 to 8 years at this point, it's all the same, but now there's more auto-tune. Again, there's just pettiness accelerated. The man is 36. I'm not even getting any IG captions from this album. It's just all a rap, Brad. And what really hurt me is that Drake gave us a song and a music video for 8 a.m. in Charlotte on Thursday. So strategically 24 hours before the album came out. He's rapping on this. He's got his son Adonis in the video. There are just signs of life there. Like, oh man, this is the old Drake. Like, let's go. We're back. But then he gave us this garbage. I'm done. It's a wrap, Brad. I have no use for current Drake anymore. It's been a good run, but pun intended, I guess. It's one of my favorite Drake songs. It's over.
Tyler, I'm sorry to hear that. I know how much he means to you and how much that 10-year-old now album means to you. But man, is it a hot take? Because is it universally despised?
It's polarizing. This
Okay.
From what I've seen, this album, like every Drake album, it's polarizing. The Drake stans are going to ride with him regardless. The folks who don't like Drake now have more material to cite. It's really polarizing. Some people really enjoy it. Some people like me did not.
So it's weird because usually I know about this stuff just because of, working in high school and you hear about it and you're like, oh, okay, I missed it. So there it is. And then I'll check it out. But you broke the news to me telling me today I got my hot take about Drake's new album. And I was like, is what now? I had no idea.
Yeah,
No idea.
You're not missing out, man. So what did we miss from the week, Brad? I got a few quick notes. Media Day for the NBA. Big shout out to our 19 Media Group family. People have been putting in work. I'm talking about Warren Shaw. I'm talking and Cal Lee of the Baseline, Stephen Cameron of the Orlando Magic, Close Up Magic podcast. We have Ricky, Kwame, Omar from Late Night Lake Show. And Desmond, our guy Desmond Powell from Hit to the Games. So much basketball content. Media Day happened. Speaking of the NBA, Dame Lillard is on the Milwaukee Bucks. Drew Holiday is on the Boston Celtics. Jimmy Butler appeared or showed us that he has an emo phase.
His hair was so
which
bad.
could be like a whole separate segment. That dude is
Coming
just
out there looking like Cat.
he's just a different cat. DeAndre Ayton was officially moved from the Suns. He's now on the Blazers. It's the curious case of Ayton, man. It's sad for me that this is how his son's career ended, but probably not a big shock. The WNBA finals are underway. We have a new article posted on the site, gimmickinfringementpod.com. Aces versus Liberty. I'm so stoked. I'm predicting that the Liberty win in 5, but if you want to learn more, check out the article. And then finally, Brad, The Other Black Girl is a series on Hulu that I really enjoyed. It's based off of a novel, sci-fi, definitely Get Out inspired. Super good.
It's awesome. The only thing I have is Fall Break and the space beneath the Marana High School Auditorium Theater is absolutely terrifying. We went in building spelunking the other day, and it is nightmare fuel down there. Also, this week was the finale of Only Murders in the Building. Cliffhanger again, awesome again, so good. A lot of fun for that one. And it was also the season finale of Ahsoka. I loved that show. I loved the pacing. It ended with a cliffhanger. Geek Twitter was on fire with this, saying it was garbage, it was trash, it was slow. Why did they fight like that? All this stuff. They're out of their damn minds. It was one of the best things Disney's produced in terms of Star Wars content. It was just a lot of fun. The characters were well developed, well rounded, and everything made sense. So I don't know what they're complaining about. And they left it open for more. So Why would you be upset about this? So absolutely crazy, but a lot of good stuff on this week. My Tuesday nights are now open again. Maybe I'll have to make Tuesday my catch up day from here going forward, but I doubt it will be filled with NXT.
I got nothing. I got nothing to respond to that. This was fun. We should do this again sometime, Brad.
Sounds good.
You can follow us on X at GIPod19. We thank you for being here, and we hope you'll join us again for the next edition of GI. Gimmick Infringement is a part of 19 Media Group. You can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube via the 19 Media Group channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.